Good morning. This is Mike Renner from WAC Solution Partners. Thank you for joining our lunch bites. Everybody that got the email, I appreciate you getting on board with this. So let me explain what lunch bites are. WAC Solution Partners have been doing lunch bites for many years. They're typically during lunch on the East Coast, so that's why we call them lunch bites. And they're typically tips and tricks about different software programs. We do them every month, and this particular one is about Abila fund accounting. We just started doing some of the other products we represent, so this is the first time we've done Abila fund accounting lunch bites. And I'm also recording this, so anybody else that wants to watch it later can see it. I'm just going to review essentially a few things with Abila fund accounting. And this will be the first of many we'll do. We'll probably do one of these for Abila like once a quarter. We're going to review a little bit about WAC Solution Partners. We're going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about why people get on fund accounting and do a little site comparison against other accounting systems. And then I'll do an overview of Abila fund accounting. So this is more of just an intro type presentation for people that might be looking at this program to see if it would be a fit for them. Okay, so the first thing is, let me explain to you all who WAC Solution Partners are. We're a member of a group called WAC Solution Partners. We're one of 12 partners in the United States. This organization has been around since 1987, and all we do is accounting systems. We do the Abila products, we do Acumatica, we do Sage, we do NetSuite, and we do some QuickBooks as well. So we're not CPAs. We're actually consultants that work in the field, and we're certified in all the products that we offer as well. So another little slide here. This is just a map of our organization. We have 12 offices around the United States. Our two offices are in, our office is in Palm Desert. I also have an office based out of LA. And we're headquartered in Boston. And I think the last count is we service about 36 different states, from 36 different states with products that we offer and help people with. So what I want to do is do a basic overview of MIP fund accounting. The navigation of financial modules, but I want to start out with this first. Get rid of this here, and okay. So why do people? I get this question all the time. Why do we need this product? I'm a nonprofit. Everything is fine. We have QuickBooks and it's working okay, or we have, say, Sage or Peachtree, and we seem to be getting along fine. Why do we need this product? And this is just basically a side-by-side comparison between, over here you see the traditional type of softwares. I would say that are designed for profits accounting softwares, but they're repurposed for nonprofits. This is QuickBooks, this is Sage, this is where you got it and you're using it in a nonprofit organization. And versus a true fund accounting product that is actually written to work in the nonprofit space. So the two unique things about nonprofits are this. One is it's always other people's money, and so they have other people that they have to account to, and sometimes people lend money or give money to a nonprofit for, say, a 2-year period, and that granting agency wants to see the 2-year period for their particular grant and where the money went. That's one thing. A lot of nonprofits and government agencies also have weird budget years, like the city of Tacoma that I'm familiar with, where I'm originally from, has a 2-year biennium budget that starts in June, I think, and goes to June till the end of the following 2 years in May. So the traditional accounting software package will not handle that reporting at all. The other thing that we have a lot of in nonprofits is just a lot of accounting, cost coding and things like that that really need to be complexly taken care of and watched. I'll put in here fiscal periods. That's, fiscal periods is one thing, and then also nonprofit software like bill of fund accounting has what's called a multi-dimensional chart of accounts, and I'll explain that in a minute. As well as there are extensive audit reporting requirements. Over here, you may not even have a decent audit trail. This has a very, very good audit trail, as well as there's a few other things. But that's just a basic overview of this versus the true fund accounting versus the normal accounting software packages. So let me show you what I'm talking about a little bit. If you have this is Sage 100, and I'm just kind of showing you the account structure. So in Sage 100, we have the chart of accounts. I'm just showing you a 3-segment. Let's just go. I want to get income and expenses over here. So for example, this particular GL code has 3 segments. The main account is the 400 level 1, which you can see, and then you've got a middle one, which I believe is a department, and then the last one is the location code. Typically, a nonprofit is going to have, this is 3, is going to have 5, 6, 7 segment codes. So this chart of account gets very large very fast, and it blows up on most people. So every time they have to do an expense or an income, they have to go in here and find the correct coding and put it into the AP register and all that sort of stuff. So this works really good for a regular profit company, but for nonprofits it's a lot different. But I've seen nonprofit people use this program as well, and they get by, but it's not really written for a nonprofit. So let's go over to Abila. And what I have opened up is the new Abila version 215-2, the latest and greatest stuff on here. So let me explain a couple new things that are in this program. If you go back to my desktop, let's just go back to my desktop again. Hang on. You see over here, there's just one icon I push. Previously, there was an accounting icon, there was an administrative icon, there was a payroll icon. Now it's all in one place. So the whole program is essentially in one place. And I've got tasks here for accounting. I've got all my different AP, AR, allocations, encumbrances, sales order, and I've got administration as well in here. So it's all kind of in one place. If I want to look at GL, just to give you an example, back to my previous discussion about the general ledger, accounting setup, and we have in here, we have chart of accounts, account code combinations, distribution codes. Let's just start with those. So account code combinations here, we actually have 5 in this organization: fund, grant, program, department, and 117, which is restricted and non-restricted. So we initially set these up in the beginning based on what our organization structure should be, and there's 5 here. I go back over here to chart of accounts. You can see it's a little bit different than my Sage example. I've got the segment is here, and then each of the codes within the segment are listed. So I have 117. I have the different options for 117: restricted, non-restricted, temporary, I have my departments over here. I have my funds listed. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I have my GL codes down here. So as I get a new GL code or a new fund, I can just set them up in here by putting a new one in, you know, by going in here and setting up a new one. And I just pick the segment I want, and I just go forward from there. Very easy to do. But it's not as complex as the other traditional accounting system. Let's go back out of here. And then the other thing that's really unique about nonprofits is just the cost coding that they have to do, because there's so many departments, there's so many things going on. And what's really nice about Abila is it has a thing called distribution codes. So just take, for example, a distribution code, and you can see the different ones in here: daycare, direct, evening, food service. These are all set up based on, let's just pick one, professional services, for example. Okay, so this would be something like their cost to their CPA for, you know, doing their audit report. And what I have in here in distribution code, I have a split between different areas of this. So I have funds, grants, programs, department, 117, and as you can see, I have percentages on each of these. And I can set these to percentages, or I can set these to units, or actually amounts. So say I have a $1,000 check, this example, a $1,000 check that goes out to a CPA, and I can put this distribution code right in the vendor, and then when I pay that CPA the $1,000, the costs are all split based on this distribution code. So it's a one-time entry. I just have to set up my distribution codes in the beginning, but it saves people a lot of time where they would normally have to just key this stuff in if they run another program. Let's close this down. Let's just pick another one. Utility would be another example. So where I have my phone bill that is split between these different accounts. So a little explanation about distribution codes. And then we have a few other things in our offset account assignments and closing account assignments, which the offset accounts are just when you do a payment that has a distribution code, you put the offset account assignments in that are actually the AP side of it that makes the entry balancing, if that makes any sense. So the other thing that I want to show you is this basic example of reporting. Now, as I said, nonprofits have unique reporting requirements. So let's just pick an example here. I'm going to take a financial statement, the statement of revenues and expenses, and in here I have this little wizard with different reports in there, and I'm just going to pick one. This is a board report, to give you an example. Now, as you can see, I have opening balances, ending balances for the year, and this year has not really been closed, and I don't really have to close the year. It just operates going forward. But I have this entity what has to report from the 1st of January 2014 to the end of 2015. So they basically have a 2-year period that they report on. Now, you can't do that in QuickBooks or Sage, or we'd have to do some special, you know, kind of add-on program or something like that. This program is built to do that very thing. So if I just want to go here and run this report, for example, let's go up here, print screen, and you can see this report comes out. revenue, and these are all based on the chart of accounts. Revenues, expenditures, direct costs, other costs. Let's see if there's a second page. And I have my excessive revenues over budget or over expenditures, essentially. And there's a whole bunch of canned reports in here. You can also build your own reports. Another thing you can do is you can drill down into here. So if I go here and hit this little driller, so then I can drill down into my actual costs. I go with my plus sign, hit the revenue, and I can go down in here, and then I can see the actual document, transaction code, and I can go right down into the actual posting itself. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's go out of here. Let's see. Let's get back over here. Okay, drag this down, close this down. Now, let me show you another example. I want this report actually to go back over here. I want this report actually to give me a report by grant, every single grant separated out by itself. So what I can do is very simple. There's content filters on here. So I can just pick, I want the grant code to be a highlighted area, and then I want to also use the filter and have it do each grant. So I'm just going to say, let's do a range of grant codes. Between 101 and let's just pick that one. Now I can save this report if I want to, if I want to use it again, or I can just go run the report. And now you can see it's just run the report out for Grant 101, Health Appeals. And if I go out to the next report, Housing, Child Welfare, etc. Let's just close this down, go back. So that's a little bit of an overview of MIP, fund accounting. And I guess that's what I wanted to share with you today. We'll do another one of these sessions next month, probably on something a little more detailed into the accounting system itself. But I appreciate your time, and have a great day, okay? If there's any questions about anything, let me know, and we'll talk to you all soon, okay? Bye-bye.